Hi everyone and welcome to the CEO video interview for Air Transport Community Week. My name is Wes Charnock, I'm the Editor-in-Chief of Routes, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Kadri Samsunlu, the CEO of Istanbul Airport. Kadri, thanks very much for being with us today. We've not spoken since last year when things looked a little different at the start of last summer, and we all thought that the market would be open again by the end of last summer. So how are things with you at the moment? How's the airport? How's Turkey in general?
Well, I mean, overall, of course, I mean, I have to admit it's very sad that the airports in Europe went all the way back to the traffic levels in 1995. I mean, this is astonishing. We lost almost 25 years as like we put ourselves in a time machine and went back to 1995. I mean, as IGA, I mean, it was our second year of operation with over 23 million passengers. We proved to be one of the most resilient airports in the continent, and the busiest as well in terms of passenger numbers. I mean, there are reasons, of course, for this resilience. We have a very strong and big domestic market, and our government put relatively limited travel restrictions and border closure, which enabled us to surpass the other big hubs in Europe. Of course, I mean, it's a pandemic, and as a global hub airport, we should work very closely with the government officials, health professionals, and airlines to safely handle the pandemic and to keep the air connectivity to Istanbul or to Turkey and via Turkey. As you know, transfer business is also relatively very important for the sector and for my airport. And what we are trying to do is we need to reduce the economic impact of the pandemic over us and also in the sector. That's why working with the stakeholders and decision makers, as well as airlines and other stakeholders of the ecosystem, is very key to set the measures to reduce the health risks for the passengers, for our employees, which are also very key for us, and also general public. I think what I can say is, I mean, in the first 1 year of the pandemic, we successfully implemented in Turkey those measures, as a result of which currently we have a consistent and predictable travel experience that we can propose to the passengers and tourists who are willing to come to Istanbul this year. I will call 2021 as a year of partial normalization. It's an unfortunate comment, but it's the best we can get is a partial normalization. I'll be very glad if we get the air traffic to around 50% contraction compared to 2019. And from our operational perspective, the year started very much in line with our expectations.
Thank you. Obviously, you mentioned that you have a lot of different types of traffic there. You're looking into the Turkish market, you think of that leisure market as really important, and a lot of European countries are closed right now. The UK is closed right now. Yeah. You know, is that really key to you getting up to those levels you're hoping for a return to leisure in the back end of the summer?
Yes, I mean, Turkey is the sixth biggest touristic nations in touristic country in the world, and tourism is one of our main foreign currency inflows as well as the service economy. Therefore, the recovery is very important for Turkish aviation industry as well as the tourism industry, and therefore, I mean, in our country and I think all around the world, we should avoid fragmentation and disruption that we experienced last year, and increase transparency and predictability for passengers as well as businesses. When we have all these problems hanging in the air, I would say that our hands will remain tied, and we will continuously go through tough times when the blanket traveling bans are still imposed, like in UK. What we need for Turkey and for all the big let's say touristic destinations, and also for the continent, a progressive and coordinated restart of international travel for summer 2021, which is not there yet, but and it's worrying me. But there are also good signs that encourages us for the coming months. One of them is basically United Kingdom's recent move to work on a coordinated restart of the international travel. I hope other countries will follow this, UK's footsteps. The evidence from Israel is basically demonstrating that the vaccines are effective against the transmission. It's also pretty positive. And obviously, there's a significant pent-up demand. I mean, last summer, when the restrictions loosen a bit, we have seen a huge, let's say, movement all around Europe and as well as to locations like Turkey. Of course, as I said, 2021 is a year for normalization. I think recovery will take longer for sure. What we need as the players of the industry, definitely restore passenger confidence through progress on vaccinations, key testing, and also health precautions should remain very strong for airports and for airlines. I mean, we should eye global economic growth. As long as the growth is there, people will have more disposable income so they can spend for traveling. Airline capacity ramp up is an issue. We have over 15,000 aircrafts, grounded at the airports. We should definitely plan how to, ramp up this capacity back to business, and bounce back of business is also key because that's the lucrative part of the sector as a whole.
Yeah, thank you. You mentioned there that the UK market obviously is a huge outbound leisure tourism market, and therefore important for you. What other markets do you sort of need to see reopened, or what are your white spots at the moment you need to reopen your networks in order to get some sort of normalization back? What are those key networks?
Well, basically, of course, our flagship carrier, Turkish Airlines, is our priority one partner, and they are making almost 78% of our traffic. So we are very much working closely with them in terms of opening of our businesses, and then we should also follow their tariff and route opening plan for us. As the airport, of course, what we see is around Turkey, there are key markets like Russia and CIS, basically Commonwealth of independent state countries. They are showing a significant demand to Turkey because they have visa requirements. They are facing serious visa requirements to travel to Europe. This group is a huge potential for Turkey. Only in the last quarter of 2026, new airlines from Russia start flying to Turkey. This is very encouraging. We see a similar trend in Ukraine. Of course, Asia is also a pretty important market where the growth is very, very strong. We see the Asian recovery in Asia is much better than our continent. That's why we will definitely continue focusing on building more relations with the Asian carriers. Middle Eastern market is also very near to, very close to Turkey. Turkey is a automatic tourism destination for most of the people living in Middle East. I hope once the traveling becomes more possible and the restrictions are lifted, we will see a significant recovery from Middle East as well.
Thank you. One of the things you touched on there that's really interesting at the minute, I think, is all the new startup carriers. You mentioned there's new startup carriers in Ukraine, and Turkish is such a big part of the story there. But obviously, I'm sure your doors are open to anybody who wants to fly in. How are those conversations progressing? Do you see maybe a different airline mix or more airlines flying in the recovery?
First of all, what I should say is, in the past, there were many airlines who wanted to come to Istanbul, European side of Istanbul, but due to the capacity constraints of the old airport, they were not able to obtain the slot rights at the right time, around the peak hours of the day. That's why we lost a lot of business to other airports, the second airport of Istanbul in the Anatolian side. Today, our airport has no problem in any capacity on the air side or on the land side. That's why we are welcoming almost all airlines commencing services to Istanbul. The importance of Istanbul is that we have around 16 countries within 2 hours flight, and we can easily be a mega hub operation for those 16 countries located in our catchment area. And what we are proposing them that they can come to Istanbul with narrow body aircrafts by having certain load factors, and then we can mix them up with through interlining or having a code sharing or some kind of other arrangement with Turkish Airlines and transferring their passengers to final destinations. This is important because small regional airports are going to recover a bit later than big hub airports like us, and opening a direct route from one destination to the rest of the world is, first of all, economically don't make sense, and only through Istanbul we can offer to many airlines, new airlines located in our catchment area, reaching over 200 destinations with just one stop. I think that's a good proposition, and we are pushing that a lot with new airlines as well as the existing airlines as an idea to entertain. If this idea flies, we will be able to help those regional airports and also the regional airlines grow their indirect market through Istanbul, and to do that, of course, Turkish Airlines is key, and then we are also working with them to develop this full potential together. It's a long process, a tiring process, but we are very hopeful that we can put in a proposition which will have a win-win for Turkish Airlines and other airlines at the same time.
Okay, perfect. No more questions for me, I guess. So I just wanted to say thanks very much for your time today. It's been really interesting, and best of luck in the recovery. I hope to be back to Turkey soon.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Right. Thanks very much, Kadri.
Thank you. Bye-bye.